Good morning, everybody. Mestre Sukuri coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. Mestre Vibes, episode number 98. I have my cup of coffee and I am ready to go. Today, I want to talk to you guys and define some of the key aspects of what I do here. I want to give a big shout out to Adam, Gus, for always supporting and just being amazing. Zumbi, you my boy, you know that. Everybody else too. Big shout out to Andy, who's proofreading the last book before I translate it to Japanese. Guys, when I first came to Japan, I've told you that I wanted to start a cultural center. And I was thinking that it would blow up and I'd be able to do like Mestre Jalone did in New York or create my own cultural center. And my path took a different way. I'm not complaining. And now, as I mentioned, I can do more. So as I'm doing that, I'd like to share with you guys some of the things that I artistically do and that I want to focus on and move forward with as I bring this full circle as Capoeira Zoador Academy Tokyo, but also as the flagship for my Brazilian Culture and Arts Center. Something that I've always wanted to do, something that's always been part of my path, and that I'm going to move back to and do more. I'll continue to do capoeira as always, but I'm going to be adding more things, and people can enjoy and be a part of it, or they can decide to do something else or just the capoeira and pick and choose. But for me, I'm going to be focused on the next evolution, the next stages of my life to do exactly what I love to do. First, here are some terms that I think we really need to understand as a group and as a cultural center. First, Capoeiragem. Capoeiragem. The deeper way of living capoeira, not just practicing the movements, but embodying the values, instincts, and the rhythms. And of course, the street smarts in everyday life. It includes malicia, history, music, and cultural knowledge. These are all part of Capoeiragem. To be a capoeirista, you have to understand the concept of Capoeiragem. If not, you are like Mestre Valdemar de Paixão said in an old interview, you are just an aficionado of the sport of capoeira. And I think today we confuse too much the difference between just as we confuse professional and amateur, we confuse capoeiragem and capoeirista with someone who's just a person who is interested in the sport of capoeira. So as I move through life as a capoeirista, it is because I have these fundamentals of capoeiragem. Next, capoeira contemporânea or contemporary capoeira. This is a modern, evolving expression of capoeira that blends elements from both Angola and regional, often including new movements, musical styles, and global influences while maintaining a connection to tradition. This is generally the most common capoeira that we see every day in the world. I would say it's about 90%. Very few people actually play the pre-academy capoeira. Once Mestre Pastinha and the other Mestres of Angola made formal teaching of capoeira, it became also Capoeira Angola Contemporânea. The Capoeira Angola from before academias I'll always refer to as Capoeira Angola Primitiva or Capoeira Angola Tradicional. But Capoeira Angola Contemporânea is what we generally see. Capoeira Contemporânea is what you generally see most people playing, and that's the different styles from every group, including ours. Ladainha. The importance of the ladainha is to understand the philosophical and short stories that are embodied. These long, often solo songs sung at the start of a capoeira game, they carry the voice of the ancestors. They tell stories, teachings, and reflections that set the spiritual tone for the game. And it's important that even if you don't sing these, that you study as many of these as you can so that when they're sung, they inspire you. Mestre Linguiça always says that. It's so different when he hears a ladainha and it inspires him and he gets goosebumps and just shivers all over because he can feel the axé and the energy. Cantigas de capoeira. These are the basic songs that we sing in capoeira, short, repetitive capoeira songs that are easy to sing along with. They build energy and connection in the roda, often responding to the moment or style of play. Not just anything, but something that matches. I recommend all of people involved in capoeira in a contemporary format to use ChatGPT or another type of AI to translate the nuances as best as possible. With all this new AI, it's better to have something than nothing. I would say 99% of the people I run into in Asia have no idea what they're singing or a mediocre translation and not the cultural or poetic translations. But now with ChatGPT and with other AI, you can get more of a sense if you ask it, for example, ChatGPT, please translate the following song, but also explain the cultural nuances of the song. Whether you can sing the songs or not, it's important to sing the choruses, but also to have an understanding or a basic understanding of each of the songs. Floeiros. Capoeira, we say floeiros traditionally. It means the flourishes or how a flower flourishes because it's a beautiful opening or something. So capoeira floeiros are the term we use for acrobatics inside of the capoeira game. Floeiros, I think, is a great word because it directly relates to how to use the capoeira movement in the capoeira roda. What I see a lot now is a lot of tricking, which is for me similar to breakdancing because the people are so far apart that they're actually tricking by themselves or doing acrobatics by themselves. Floeiros in capoeira are attack, defense, escape, but done in a close distance with a sense of timing and awareness of your partner. So you have to look to be able to communicate and understand the movement exchange between people. And these floeiros embody that. If someone does a handspin, then maybe I'll do a low bridge so that we can communicate with acrobatics inside of the roda, and those are floeiros. As I already mentioned, Capoeira Angola, the traditional form of capoeira rooted in African heritage and spirituality. I would say Afro-Brazilian heritage and spirituality. It emphasizes strategy, lower movements. People say it's slower, but I think that's something just because that's become in contemporary Angola. When I first started playing capoeira, Angola could be really fast, but you had to be agile. There's more individual personality within the game. Each person, what I see a lot is people trying to copy their teachers. I think that's normal, that at the beginning you copy, but after 4 years of capoeira, I think that you should really start to develop your own style and way of doing things, but it still has to function and communicate and have a dialogue within the capoeira game. Entradas, for us, entradas means to enter, and these are the strategic entry movements used to begin or interrupt the game, to do a takedown, to put someone on the floor, or to throw somebody. These are the 1 meter games that we play in our group. We say Santo Malandrón sometimes, or jogo de samba do grande de regional, where it's 1, 2, 3, floor, where you're trying to get the person on the ground from a capoeira perspective, not grappling, but a striking takedown. Could be a rasteira, a tombo da ladeira, a cabeçada in the au, all of these deep timing and showing your more martial arts and intention in a closer and more martial arts game. Navalinha is the game that we use here using the rhythm of Santa Maria. And it's when you learn to play with the razor blade in, you're holding it in your toes or in your hands. This is more of a cultural experience. And the reason that I do this is because it creates such a dynamic level of awareness. Nothing will create more awareness than if somebody's afraid of being cut with a razor blade. It's not actually something done fast or wildly. It's something that's done in a game of an incredible sense of precision, control, and timing and connection with the music, but at the same time, the highest level of connection with your partner to flow in a capoeira game. Capoeira, we say, is arte e cultura, art and culture. These are the heart of capoeira, the visual, the musical, and the performative aspects of capoeira and their Afro-Brazilian traditions that give meaning and soul to the movements. Without this, capoeira becomes more of a, I don't want to say it in a bad way. I'm not saying it's a bad way, but it becomes more of cheerleading or breakdancing or something that is done by itself and disconnected from what capoeira gives it, that energy, that positivity, that axé that we love. And for people who know the difference, it's very different. Next, maculele. I guess the easiest way to explain it is it's an Afro-Brazilian stick dance with the roots in sugarcane plantation. It blends the warrior spirit, rhythm, and community, often performed alongside capoeira to celebrate resistance and ancestral pride. The maculele can be done with sticks, or it can be done with machetes. We have both here, so I'm going to be introducing the machetes. The problem that I've come in with a lot of these things that we do, they're very dangerous if people are not 100% aware of what they're doing and their partner. Capoeira's involvement in capoeira artistically and capoeira Jihua, everything is about building awareness. And I think the most important thing I'd like to share today is that people need to build awareness with their partner, but also with the people and the energy around and what they're doing. Capoeira, what I love is that you are responsible for everything. So if you make a mistake, it's your fault. Traditionally, masters would tell you once. If they told you twice, it was already a waste of time because you're responsible. And in today's age, I'm seeing a lot of people who are just not 100% present when they're doing things. This is a disconnection, and it's a dangerous one because it makes things more difficult. And I'm thinking that I'm just going to have to be a little bit more old school for me when I'm doing these things, and people who I don't feel have 100% connection just stand to the side and watch. And I'm going to do this because it's about safety. People think, and people stop giving me your opinions and your sad faces when I tell you no or when I say stand there. Why? Because you're not paying attention. I am. This is what I do. And when I tell you not to get involved, it's so that you don't have any injuries or accidents or anything. People are just not looking and they think they are. This isn't your social fun thing. Do that, go find breakdancing. Do that, go do aerobics. Do that, go do yoga. But if you're going to be involved in what I do here, I need a very high level of awareness for safety. This isn't because I think I'm right about everything. I've just had every accident it happen to me and seen it. I've had my fingers almost breaking when people aren't paying attention with the makulele sticks and smash them in my hands. I've been hit on the side of the face with a makulele stick because the person isn't paying attention. Blood came out during the makulele hoda because they just weren't paying attention. Guys, as I take us to this new level of cultural and arts, and actually I'm going to be getting a sticker for the front of the Academia and a new banner. I'm working on the designs, and it will say Capoeira Zoador, Brazilian Cultural Center here. Because this is what I want to do for the next stage of my life, because this is what I came to do. And I know people say you have to adapt things. Then I can teach capoeira in 1 hour. I've seen a lot of classes that are 1 hour long. And that's because people come here to hang out, not to be involved. Not everybody, but a lot of my people. Those are the clients, and that's fine. But I'm hoping that by leading through example, I can inspire people to get more involved and more dedicated to the arts that I love so much. Finally, here we also do puxada de rede. Not finally, puxada de rede. And this is a folkloric, cultural, how can I put it? It's a folkloric theatrical dance that tells the story of a fisherman and the sea. It honors the Afro-Brazilian maritime life and is often used in performances to show cultural heritage in capoeira. I personally love the songs of Puxada de Rede, the fisherman's dance, and I'm going to start investing and putting a little bit more into getting the proper materials and oars, like wooden oars, so that we can do the folklorico. And I'm going to incorporate it into my regular teaching, and I'm going to enjoy it more. And if people aren't ready, stand aside and just wait for the capoeira class to start. And I think this will inspire people more. Samba de roda is something that I really love. It is part of the Afro-Brazilian Bahia cultural heritage, a traditional circle dance from Bahia, full of joy, rhythm, and improvisation. It's closely tied to capoeira. It expresses feminine energy, playfulness, and community, even in men. It's very tribal, and it's something that I love to do and that I'm also going to be incorporating more. It's going to take a lot of time to be able to have all of this stuff ready, but I think it's going to be worth it. Then, of course, regular samba de malandro, and samba for the ladies, so we can have more gorgeous and fun shows and performances and just events. It's a rich and diverse genre of Brazilian music and dance that originated from African roots and is the heartbeat of Brazilian cultural, joyful, rhythmic, and expressive dance, especially in Rio de Janeiro. Samba reggae, a powerful Afro-Brazilian rhythm from Salvador that fuses samba with reggae, influences from the Caribbean. It represents Afro-Brazilian pride, resistance, and unity through percussion and dance. My favorite groups such as Olodum, Chimbalada, Ile Aye, Filhos de Gandhi, so many amazing groups that bring the artistry and passion that build the musical side of capoeira just as much as samba. Samba duro, when I was in the States last year, people were loving it, and it's something that's a very big part of capoeira, a harder, more urban style of samba, usually with rasteras, sweeps, headbutts, elbows, using your hips, and you can actually, it's more of a martial arts, playful samba. Pandeiro malabarismo is the juggling art of the pandeiro, something that I love to do, contra mestre jacaré, mestre linguiça do, and it's something that I really want to continue to train and be a part of. These are all things that are part of who I am and what I do and my cultural expression. There's a lot of training that goes into it, but it's amazing when you juggle the panderos. Of course, dança afro and the Afro-Brazilian dance rooted in the spiritual and rhythmic traditions of African ancestry in Brazil, brought over by the slaves. It connects the body, the music, the Orisha symbolism in expressive movements. Ritmos afros, Afro-Brazilian rhythms, the different African-based rhythms that form the basis of all Afro-Brazilian cultural musical styles. They carry ancestral memory, community energy, and spiritual vibrations. These are so important as they also are part of the base of capoeira. And all these are what we call fundamentos. Not to mention, I also love to do frevo, which is an umbrella dance that combines capoeira, explosive floreiros, and acrobatics with dance. A lot of the students who have been with me for many years have learned these different steps. Guys, to do all of this, to create the energy, to create the level of capoeira and arts that I want to get to is going to take a long time. And to do that, we need to keep these following terms in mind. Fundamentos, the foundational principles of capoeira: respect, rhythm, balance, awareness, and cultural understanding. Without fundamentos, techniques become empty and it becomes a very bland capoeira for those who know. I teach it. People also have to learn it and go after it. You need to chase after the information. You need to study. You need to study. Historia. You need to study the living history of capoeira, not only shaped by the slavery, resistance, and community, but the understanding of the history is key to honoring those who came before and guiding those who come next. This is what fuels the capoeira community and everything, a shared historical understanding. Vivência, the lived experience, the wisdom gained by doing, feeling, and reflecting. In capoeira, vivência is how real learning happens through the roda, through the struggle, the music, and the journey. Vocabulário, you need to study the vocabulary of capoeira. It's not just enough to study Portuguese, but you need to study the vocabulary of capoeira, the technical and expressive vocabulary of capoeira, movements, instruments, songs, and cultural terms. Learning the language of capoeira connects students to its deeper meanings, and it saves time. I can't tell you how much time I waste re-explaining basic things such as what is an armada, what is a queixada, what is a cocorinha. Guys, learn it. Stop wasting my time and your own. Study. If you're going to do capoeira, study. Even if someone does karate or judo, they have to learn the basic names in Japanese. So study the basic things. Musicalidade, the sense of rhythm, timing, and feeling that guides movement and connection in capoeira. More than playing music, it's the ability to be the music, to be connected to the music while playing capoeira. As always, what creates swing? Timing, tuning, technique, and volume control. Keep those 4 principles in mind and your music will improve. Guys, capoeira roda. The sacred circle where capoeira is played and where we do everything. It's a space of ritual, community, and transformation, where movement, music, and malícia meet. Ancestralidade, the connection to the ancestors and to the energy and to the spirits, that presence and guidance of those who came before. In capoeira, it's a source of power, protection, and purpose passed on through songs, ritual, and memory. All of these things are part of ancestralidade. And never forget the filosofia, the philosophy behind capoeira, balance between body and spirit, strategy and compassion, resistance and play. It's the worldview that turns capoeira into a way of life. All these different things make up capoeira and what I focus on here at my academia. It's not for everyone. I recently got reminded that capoeira is for everyone, but not everyone is for capoeira. Guys, I hope this helps you, especially my students, to understand where we're going to be going from here on out. I have to, if you're not 100%, but if you're not keeping up, that's your side. My side is to lead and to push forward. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is invited. As always, I have to judge my time to the people who are more involved, not in a bad way, but your level of dedication, your level of study will also reflect my level of availability. It's not a bad way, it's just the logical way. And this is the only way we can become the cultural center and the place, the space of Ashe and energy to take capoeira to the highest form possible here in Asia. I hope to be a beacon. I hope to be a mentor. I hope to be more involved even here in Japan to share the beauty of capoeira as I see it and as I hope to lift it in a more cultural and artistic form. Guys, thank you for joining me today here on Mestre Vibes. Mestre Sukuri, coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. Lots of love, lots of peace, and lots of capoeira.